you don't take risk and get burned and lose in anything, this is not just sports, if you don't make mistakes, you'll never be successful. I have no fear of making mistakes. As a matter of fact, I welcome mistakes now. I welcome failures, because those, I know it sounds cliche, but your failures really do make you stronger. So if you learn from those things and then continue to fight through it and battle through, you're only going to be better for it.
It's the Geek DFS Army.
Okay, this is going to be controversial. This is going to be something that is panned. This will probably get me hate mail. But I'm going to tell you right now, don't draft Aaron Jones this year. Let somebody else draft. I will not have him on any team that I own. All right? Nothing. He will, because he's going way too high. The regression, the guy was only on the field 50%. He scored 19 touchdowns. He was only on the field 55% of the snaps last year. They still give it to Jamal Williams. Now they got another goal line type of back to steal some of those touchdowns back.
So the best weeks on the waiver wire are week 1 and week 2. That's where the guys emerge that we didn't know, that didn't get drafted. That's where Marquise Brown emerges. That's where DJ Shark emerges. So you're going to want to have a fluid roster in order to make pickups in week 1 and week 2. Now, if you take a kicker in round 12, 13-ish, like I did, you're going to be more comfortable dropping the players that you took in round 19 and 20 versus doing it the other way. So, like, for example, if you took your sleepers in round 12 and 13, and then you took your kicker in round, the end, you're going to be a little bit more goosey about dropping your round 12, 13, 14 sleepers. Whereas the guys you took at the end, for me, it was Cole Beasley and John Ross. You'll cut them like that.
And people always refer to value. Right? Oh, there's value on this game, and there's value on that game, and I don't know if I could swear on the podcast, but I'm like, what the fuck do you mean about value? I used to get a phone call by a buddy and say, hey, I think there's value on the Bills over the weekend, right? Or there's value on the Montreal Canadiens over the weekend. And my question was, based on what? Is it your gut? Is it because you're looking at the line and you're getting 6 points and you feel that you should be getting 10, what are you basing yourself from? A model's not specifically going to tell you need to bet that number, right? Because a model's not going to be able to quantify back-to-backs or that the players went out the night before, right?
I talk about risk and bankroll management when we talk about sports, and you'll hear the other guys over there, Anthony and Ryan, we talk about that. It's very much... you have to take that approach of what can you handle, what's your risk tolerance. We are eliminating risk from our children as much as we possibly can. Now that sounds like a great thing, right? Life was actually riskier then, or it was actually more dangerous then, and we were allowed to do more things. And as like my generation had children, they started to become more and more protective. You've seen, we saw this huge increase in peanut allergies in the Western world. There was one country that didn't have that increase, and it was Israel. Now, the reason Israel didn't have this was because the actual snack that the most popular snack that they gave little kids was peanut based. Exposing them to more, risk actually was reducing the amount of peanut allergies because they were building up a tolerance.
It must be similar to like rolling around in dirt in a sandbox when you're a kid.
That's exactly right. So now there's a lot of talk about this quarantine are we actually putting ourselves at greater risk by trying to reduce the risk, because now we're not exposing people who have been locked down for weeks and months here are not being exposed to other forms of bacteria and things like that. So if you actually live in a bubble, you are way more susceptible to diseases when you're now exposed to them.
Got the best coaches in the game, we really ain't playing. We regroup up in the Slack chat where the coaches debrief. We be piecing these puzzles, occupy the chunk of the pie.